Hey guys, OG Albine here, bringing you guys my APA Little Cup Week 4 match up against Tony and his Austin Aipoms, I believe is the one he's using for this league. But yeah, if you guys are excited for the battle, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and just stuff like that, so you can catch our battles as they go up in the future. But yeah, with that being said, let's just jump right into the little team builder portion, just so you guys can get a quick little overview of the team I'm bringing in the potential mons that Tony could be bringing against us. The team that he is rocking out with, his roster consists of the Drillbur, Larvesta, Alolan Rattata, Mime Jr., Makuhita, Pidgey, Hippopotas, Shellos, Shelmet, and Pansage, while our team consists of the Abra, Scraggy, Honedge, Seal, Swinub, Bonsly, Magby, Flabebe, Teddiursa, and Pidove. So right off the bat, biggest threats to me, the Drillbur is very, very scary if it gets an SD off, if it's a Z-move variant. The Alolan Rattata is especially scary. I am terrified of that thing. Especially like, Life Orb or like, Z Double Edge or something like that. It's terrifying. It's a thing that kind of just, it's the only thing that really stops my Abra from going like rampant. The Larvesta can be scary as well. But yeah, those are going to be the main big threats that I'm worried about, in all honesty. But yeah, with that being said, let's just jump in. Right here, we have our Abra rocking out with the Focus Sash, Magic Guard ability, Psychic Terrain, Dazzling Gleam, and Shadow Ball. 236 special attack, 76 SPDF, and 196 speed with a Modest nature. Modest allows us to outspeed everything on his team that we can already outspeed, I believe, unless I'm just completely messing up on speed tiers right now. Psychic hits a good majority of his team. Dazzling Gleam hits the Alolan Rattata, and then Shadow Balls for like the Mime Jr. if that wants to come. And Psychic Terrain is a really cool option to one, booster Psychic type moves. Nothing wants to take a Psychic, a Modest Psychic and Psychic Terrain from Abra right here. It honestly just nukes his entire team if we can get a little bit of chip on anything. It also stops priority from the Alolan Rattatas, which I'm super scared of. I don't expect Scarf Alolan Rattata. I do definitely expect a, what do you call it? Like a Z variant, but he's obviously going to have Sucker Punch me, and I don't want to play around with substitutes and stuff like that to try and beat it. So if I can get it to Psychic Terrain, stop his priority, and then obviously Oko him with a Dazzling Gleam, unless he's like Sash or something like that, which I don't expect because he has Sand, and Sand offense is really good versus me, so I'd be pretty surprised if he brought Sash on this game. Especially the Rattata, which, has a pretty tough time versus me defensively and stuff like that. But yeah, that's going to be our Abra this week. It's a really cool win con if we can chip things down late game and get off his Psychic Terrain and potentially win like that. Next up, we have our Swinub right here, rocking out with the Life Orb, Thick Fat ability, Ice Shard, Earthquake, Icicle Spear, and Stealth Rock. 116 HP, 196 attack, and 196 speed with a Jelly nature. This is pretty much the Swinub that we have been running basically every week up to this point. Its dual stabs are pretty dumb good against this team. The Ice Shard priority is great versus the Drillbur and stuff like that, which is one, like I said, that I'm terrified of. And his slower stuff really doesn't appreciate Ice Shard, Icicle Spear plus Earthquake and stuff like that. This is a good rocker for me this week. I can force some things out, potentially get my rocks. Especially to cripple that Larvesta. His only removal, I believe, is going to be that Drillbur, which doesn't really want to run it versus me, because of, just his offensive prowess versus me and stuff like that, and how good it is, honestly. Other than that, I think Pidgey gets defog, but Pidgey's a Pidgey, and I can Ice Shard that, and it's going to die. So I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, it's going to be Swinub or Rocker this week. Next up, we are bringing Seal for the first time. Seal, Silver Seraph, or Seal, Berry Juice, Thick Fat ability, Aqua Jet, Surf, Thief, and Ice Shard. 236 HP, 76 attack, 156 defense, and 36 SPDF with a relaxed nature. So the dual priority, like I said, is very, very good versus his team. The ice priority for his few water resists is nice, just to pick those off if they get a little weakened. Aqua Jet is great for the Larvesta. It's good for the Drillbur if we can weaken that. And then Surf is just a more strong water move. They elected to throw on to hit the Hippopotas instead of Waterfall because, excuse me, I feel like, just he's going to be a more physically defensive Hippopotas, so Surf will do a little bit more if he is a more physically oriented spread and stuff like that. So I figured that'd be better to have. And then Thief is for once we lose our Berry Juice, which I do expect to happen pretty early on, we can throw off the Thief and steal something item, potentially like an Eviolite or something like that, just to help us stick around a little longer. Even another Berry Juice or something like that, which would be really cool. But yeah, that's going to be Seal this week. Next up, we have our Magby rocking out with a mixed wall breaker set with a Life Orb, Flame Body, Mock Punch, Fire Punch, Overheat, Hidden Power Grass, 80 HP, 120 special attack, and 252 speed with a Rash Nature. Just like Abra, we only need 18 speed to outspeed everything we can. Mock Punch is more good priority, especially for the Alolan Rattata. It absolutely destroys that thing. Overheat's a good, just kind of nuke button versus a good majority of his team. He really doesn't appreciate switching into that. He does have the Water and Shellos, I believe. We can hit that with an Hidden Power Grass and do a good chunk to it and pivot out potentially. And then Fire Punch is just a nice physical stab as well if we want to overheat and then hit something with a Fire Punch the turn after, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's going to be our Magby this week. Next up, we have a Choice Scarf Scraggy. Choice Scarf with the Intimidate ability, High Jump, Kick, Drain Punch, Knock Off, Rock Slide, 236 HP, 36 speed F, and 212 speed with the Jolly Nature. High Jump, Kick, Drain Punch, and Knock Off. The three moves are very spammable. Knock Off obviously is one of the best moves in the Little Cup tier. His team doesn't switch into High Jump, Kick, or Drain Punch very well either. And we have Rock Slide for a potential like defensive Larvesta. If that he wants that to be his check for this, we can hit it with a Rock Slide and always Oko that thing. Now, ability-wise, I really contemplated on this, whether I should go Moxie, being then a Scarf set. I felt like, Moxie obviously has pretty good merit in this match, but I did want that Intimidate buffer for things like the Drillbur. At +2, my team doesn't take it on very well, but if I can, Intimidate Shuffle and, get that thing to -1 and then switch in my Seal, get my Berry Juice back, and just get that thing out, it's a good way of stopping it from sweeping me, in all honesty. Just kind of buffering and not letting it get too strong and too boosted. And it's a good secondary check, I guess, to Larvesta and stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to be Scraggy. And then lastly, we have our Flabebe rocking out with the Eviolite. Flower Availability, Calm Mind, Moonblast, Hidden Power, Rock, and Synthesis. 4 HP, 208 defense, 28 special attack, 208 speed def, and 24 speed with a Bold Nature. So this is also a pretty good win con in this game, honestly. His team doesn't really break through it all too well. Off the top of my head, let me look at his roster again. I have it on my phone, just so I don't have to switch between stuff. His team doesn't really have anything that like immediately threatens it. The Alolan Rattata can potentially pop us like a double edge if we're weakened, or like a Z double edge or something. And like a boosted Drillbur. Excuse me. And like a boosted Drillbur can do a good chunk to us. Larvesta is a pretty good check to us, but we are packing the Hidden Power Rock for that guy, which is pretty cool. But yeah, overall, Flabebe is pretty good in the late game if we can, set it up, especially if he only has more fat stuff left. This is a pretty big menace for his team to break if he doesn't have status or anything like that. But yeah, with that being said, let's just jump right into the battle. Alright guys, so here we are with the battle. So the team that Tony elected to bring consists of the Larvesta, Alolan Rattata, Hippopotas? Is that how you say it? Oh no, I could be wrong. I think that's how you say it though. Drillbur, Pansage, and Shelmet. So right off the bat, he did bring the three biggest starts on my team. In my opinion, the Larvesta, the Alolan Rattata, and the Drillbur. I think we handle Larvesta the best out of the three, but we will see. Right off the bat, I do just kind of want to get up my rocks because, again, his only removal in this game would potentially be that Drillbur, and I don't think it can fit it, and if it can, then I can kind of take out one of the bigger threats to my team if he elects to spin opposed to get away to rocks, because everything on my team does pressure it offensively at the very least. It doesn't really set up for free versus me, and if it wants to spin instead of setting up, even better if I can just put it in range of priority for my team or something like that. But yeah, let's just jump right in. I figure it was pretty no drawback. It led well versus pretty much everything on his team, minus potentially like a Scarf Pansage, because then he wouldn't really fear me being Scarf or a Larvesta, which is unfortunately what he ends up leading off with right here. And I believe I don't really want to risk, this thing just bopping or burning my, what do you call it? Why am I blanking? My Swinub. So I'm going to pull the switch out into my Seal, as this is, my check to this thing. As he goes for the U-turn, and he does a fat chunk. This is a very offensive Larvesta, so we don't have to worry about a defensive set. If we can get a rocks, the thing will be very, very much neutered. As right here, he's going to go into his Pansage on the U-turn, as I am going to pull the switch out into my Magby, as right here, I know I can take any hit that this thing wants to go for. As he goes for the knock over here, and he does a huge chunk. He's definitely physical Pansage, but we snag the Flame Body Burn, which is great because now this thing is much, much easier to switch into, especially if he was full physical. I'm not as scared of this thing anymore. As I believe this turn, I kind of just throw off an Overheat. I believe it does a fat chunk to whatever wants to come in, as he elects to go into the Hippopotas right here. as you're going to see this overheat does a huge chunk right here, and brings him down pretty low. And it brings him down pretty low to the point, depending on his spread, he was actually potentially in range of another overheat for me. So I am going to go for that, expecting him to either want to heal up, get up his rocks or something like that, or, you know, something like that, as I can potentially knock this thing out and get rid of sand for the whole game. But unfortunately, we do not get that roll, and he is able to slack off the damage right there, which is fine. Rolls are rolls for a reason, especially in little cups. So can't be too mad about that, as we are starting to take a good amount of chip from sand and stuff like that. As I am going to switch out, knowing I can't really do anything to this thing at this point. Fire Punch is probably just going to bounce off. As right here, he goes for the Stealth Rock. And this is unfortunate. We are out of range of rocks from our Magby, but rocks plus sand obviously knocks us out, which is, again, super unfortunate because the thing was very nice in this game, just from a wall breaking perspective. And we don't have any removal on our team as of right now. But right here, I am just going to go for a Surf, as he pulls the switch out into a Shellmet, letting me gauge damage on this thing. As you're going to see, it kind of just bounces off, really doesn't do much. But what I am going to do is I'm going to try and kind of take this opportunity, as I know I can live any hit from this, even a Giga Drain right here, as he does show to be a special set, and he does have the Giga Drain, which definitely, you know, makes sense on this build, as I do get my Berry Juice right here, and I am going to be able to throw off another Surf, kind of forcing him into a potential recover turn, or at least keeping him a little low. And then this next turn after this, being that my Berry Juice is popped, I am going to click the Thief button, and I can steal this thing's Eviolite and become much bulkier. As right here, we do go for the Thief. We find out that it is a speed tie between us. I believe he outsped us the first time. No, we outsped him. Just kidding. As right here, now this Giga Drain is going to actually bounce off, actually leaving us at a place where we can still pretty reliably check the Larvesta and the Drill Burst. So I am going to pull the switch out. I believe I go right into my Magby, just kind of sacking it off, as he ends up going for the Spikes, which is good and bad, because again, I can't remove these spikes, which is annoying, but my team isn't too worried about them, other than probably my Seal and my Magby, and this does give me another hit with my Magby, as he is going to pull the switch out again into his Larvesta, I believe, as he just goes straight for the Fire Punch, you know, trying to get damage. We do about 50% to this thing, bringing it right down to about half, as he goes for the U-turn, revealing that he is Scarfed. So this does suck that our Magby goes down. We aren't able to take out the Larvesta, but it does give us very valuable information, knowing going forward that this thing is Scarfed. He can't Morning Set up. That health is, you know, pretty much as good as gone at this point, which is, again, very nice. As right here, he's going to go out into his Pansage, and I'm going to go out into my Scraggy right here. Knowing that this thing can't really do much to me while I'm burned, and I can intimidate it, it kind of just is forced to switch out, because kind of a liability. If I was Dragon Dance right here, I would be able to set up kind of just for game at this point, as I am going to go for knockoff. So he does elect to stay in, which is unfortunate, but we knock out his Yachi Berry as he goes for the taunt, expecting us. I believe he would have been faster than us if we weren't, you know, Scarf. So that was a good play on his end. There was no reason for him to really switch out in all actuality. But he's going to go down to the burn right here, which is very nice. We can even up the game right here as he goes into his Hippopotas, and this is fine by me, because this thing can't really do too much to me. And if I was Moxie right here, this is where it would be amazing, because we could honestly probably just win the game at this point. But we are able to knock off his Eviolite right here, which is something I have found pretty valuable, in all honesty. You know, being able to knock this thing off to where it's not as bulky, it's a lot easier for my team to break through, and I knew Earthquake couldn't knock me out from there. As we are going to take a little bit more sand chip, and then I'm going to go for another knockoff and take out this Hippopotas, which is great, because once sand is gone, it is gone for good. Which makes that Drill Bear much less scary to deal with. As right here, he is going to go out into his Alolan Rattata. And I believe I just go for another knockoff. There's no reason for me to switch out. I believe I'm dead to hazards, you know, spikes plus rocks. So right here, I am going to get the crit, which does suck. He does go pretty low at this point, and he is able to knock out my Scraggy with a double edge right there, as he does hit. And he takes a little bit of recoil and a little bit of sand. So right here, he is getting very low. This thing was a huge threat, but I am not as worried about it anymore, as I can pull the switch out into my Flabébé. I know I can live a double edge from this range, and get off a nice big Moonblast right here. As he does go for the double edge, and Hustle comes back to bite him, and I am able to take him out with a Hidden Power Rock, just in case he wanted to switch out into his Larvesta for some reason, preserve this, so he could take out my Abra better. But yeah, we are able to knock the thing out due to the unfortunate miss right there, which sucks for him, but that is the ability. And let me find the Rattata on the thing so I can take it off. As right here, he's going to go into a Drillbur. He's going to throw off an Earthquake. We are able to live that, though, because of the Double Edge, which does make that miss very, very big, because now we are able to throw off a Moonblast, chip, and put this thing in range of pretty much any priority in the back that we may have. As right here, he is going to go for one more Earthquake and take out our Flabébé. So right here, the game is even up at this point, but the game is looking very nice for us. If we can... one, potentially get up rocks for the Larvesta in the back, and we just kind of need to chip down and beat this this Drillbur right here. As we are going to take a little bit of Spike Chip and all that stuff. Right here, I am going to go for the Aqua Jet, and that is going to be enough to pick off the Drillbur right here, I believe, unless I'm completely wrong. Yeah, there's no way that thing lived from that range. But yeah, we are able to knock out the Drillbur, so our Seal putting in a pretty decent amount of work, taking away the Eviolite from the Shelmet, and knocking out the, the Drillbur. As right here, I'm going to go for a Surf. I have no reason to really switch out at this point. I could save this potentially for Aqua Jet for the Larvesta, which would probably be a good move. But I know I can live another Giga Drain from this thing, as I want to kind of force it into a turn where it needs to recover, and I can switch out on that. And potentially get in my Swine up right here. As right here, I'm going to go for a Surf. Actually, I don't know why I stayed in. That was probably a pretty bad play on my end. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done this. I should have switched out on that turn. Being that it was a pretty likely turn for him to recover, and I could have gone out into my Swine Up and gotten up my rocks, but we're going to see right here that this is a speed tie. I was right earlier, as he is able to get the speed tie, and I'm going to just off another Surf. Now there's no point in saving my my Seal. In all actuality, I probably should have, but being that he doesn't have Eviolite, he doesn't take the Icicle Spear from my Swine Up very well. I just need a couple hits, and I need to keep him pretty low, and from there we'll be okay. But, yeah, we're just going to keep spamming Surf, I believe, until he's able to knock us out. But he's just going to throw off a Recover again. Again, his best play. He wants to get as healthy as humanly possible to take on the rest of my team. Me, personally, I just want to get into my Swine Up and get up my rocks at this point. And this is the only thing I can really get up my rocks on. Just so I don't lose to that Larvesta in the back, which is looking pretty scary at this point. It was the thing I was the least scared about out of, like, the big three threats. But it's definitely a thing that's putting in the most work versus me at this point. As right here, I am just going to go into my Swine Up. I am going to get up my Stealth Rocks as he makes a smart play, realizing that that's probably what I'm going to do. As he goes into his Larvesta, I am able to get up my Stealth Rock, and, you know, that'll be great for the Shelmet when it comes back in. It'll take a good 25%. As right here, I'm just going to go for a little bit of Ice Shard Chip. If he wants to go for a Flare Blitz, he'll take, you know, a decent amount of recoil right here, as he is able to knock out my my Swine Up. So things are looking pretty scary, but we still do have our Focus Sash Abra in the back. And so right here, I am going to pause it. So right here, my only play obviously is to go into my Abra, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Abra, right? And instead of just clicking Psychic to knock this thing out, I'm going to click the Psychic Terrain. The reason I clicked Psychic Terrain is because the Larvesta was actually out of range, even after rocks of a Psychic if he was Spadef. This way, I know he's going to die to Flare Blitz recoil, so he is going to go down right here to that Flare Blitz recoil, and we will live on our Sash. So that's great. We are able to, you know, take this thing out with the recoil, and now he's forced to go into the Shelmet, and if I get up the Psychic Terrain, I will be able to knock him out most of the time. I believe it was a roll. I don't remember if it was or not. But this is what gave me the most optimal chance of winning. And obviously he was going to die to the Flare Blitz recoil. He had no reason to switch out. So Psychic Terrain was obviously just my best play overall, just to kind of try and seal this game. As I am going to be able to throw off the Psychic, and being that this has no Eviolite, and this is in Psychic Terrain, we are going to be able to knock out the Shelmet, which is great, as we are able to pull out a pretty narrow 1-0 victory against Tony and his Austin Aipoms. So good game to him. This was definitely very, very intense. I thought I lost with how bad I played that that Seal at the end there. I definitely should have switched out and saved it for the Larvesta, because I had nothing to really scare that thing at that point. And I knew I could live a Giga Drain from the Shelmet at that point. So I could have gone into it at any time, gotten up my rocks, and we would have been in a much better position potentially. But you live and you learn. We were still able to pick up the W, which is all that matters at the end of the day, and improve our record to 4-0. As next week we take on the Victoria Victinis, coached by Zombie, which is a good pal of mine. We played him in the UPA a little while back. And he has my number in Little Cup. I've played him 3 times in Little Cup, and he has beaten me every single time. So it's definitely a game I really, really want to win. Pretty tough matchup, but I think we can come up with a pretty cool team to get through it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the game. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to subscribe and stick around so you can catch our games as they go up in the future. But yeah, with that being said, I'll catch you guys next time. Later.